Third step is questions, because question asking is so important. It helps define what you know from what you don't know. And even when you do know something, you want to talk to the doctor about it. Am I looking at this right? I read this information online. Is this correct? Am I interpreting it correctly? Being able to ask questions, and there are no stupid questions. I know people say that all the time, but it's true. And I think doctors do appreciate a patient not just coming with a whole file of information and throwing at the doctor, oh, look, I did all this research. What do you think?
Mhm.
But the patient preparing with the
Mhm.
questions and then being able to, at the visit, being able to ask additional questions as the doctor explains more and more. When I prepared my Thinking Patient Planner, I put in general questions as well. And I got this from my research. There has been a history of health researchers trying to figure out what are the right, they call it question prompts. And I don't know if other
Mm.
industries use that term, but question prompts, meaning if you educated and gave patients certain questions before their appointments, does it make them and help them to participate more in the appointment time? And they
Mhm.
studied this, and it did. But they started off with, let's give patients 22 questions. Then they did the study. Okay, well, maybe really out of those 22, 15 are the most important. And then they ended up whittling it down to 7. And then they came to 3 questions.
Okay.
So the first question is, what are my options? So you have this whole discussion with the doctor. Doctor's saying you need to do this, this, this. Well, what are my options? And what about the wait and see option? So that's question number 1. These questions I'm saying should always be in your toolbox when you come
Yeah.
in, because you could always grab these questions. The second one is, what are the possible benefits and risks of each of the options? So as you're
Mm.
going through that discussion, you understand, how could this benefit me or how could it harm me? And then
Mhm.
the third one is, how likely are each of these benefits or harms to happen to me? Because every patient is different. Every patient has a different history, different genetics, different environment, different ages, male and female, ethnic group. It's always about getting down to, well, how will this affect me? How likely will it be for this to happen to me? And really knowing these questions, and clearly there are even more questions to ask about, your
Right.
diagnosis or the effects of medication and all these things. But if you have these 3 questions in your toolkit, you will be able to participate in this discussion and push the doctor. Because if you don't ask the doctor thinks you already know, or you're leaving it up to the doctor to decide.